Number 2, we will call to order the village board meeting on April 21st, 2022. Roll call shows everyone is in attendance but Peter and Shauna, and they are excused. 4, agenda changes. Are there any? Okay, we will move to 5. Consent agenda. A, March 17th, 2022, Committee of the Whole minutes. B, April 7th, 2022, Committee of the Whole minutes. C, April 7th, 2022, regular board meeting minutes. D, April 11th, 2022, Committee of the Whole minutes. E, licenses and permits. There are none. Oh yes, there are some. Yes, excuse me. We have a combination Class B and Class B fermented malt beverage and liquor license for timber axe throwing. The agent is Scott Zawinski. And F is presentation of accounts and other claims against the village. Are there any questions? If not, I would need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call, Jim?
Aye.
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 Motion carried. 6, we will open the public hearing. A, discontinuing a portion of Dewey Street.
So, we were approached by the owners at the Black Otter about the discontinuation of the street, basically. It's in front of their building on Dewey Street. Basically what it would do is it would straighten out the lines and make it even all the way across. Currently, it's kind of, the building's kind of cut into a portion of the street, so that would no longer be the case at this point.
And I understand that this is just simply cleaning this up so that they can do what they want to do with their building and.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really necessarily know in detail what they're trying to do, but this was something that we were looking at doing also on the parcel right next door. And that's kind of, I brought that to their attention that we kind of wanted to clean up the whole area at once. And then they mentioned this area as well, and it kind of fit in line with what we were trying to do with the parcel next door. So, yes, it's partially a cleanup.
Just to clean up.
Mostly, yeah.
Does anyone have any questions? No questions? Okay, we will then close the public hearing. 7, pre-registered citizens to be heard. None. 8, committee reports. A, library board.
Did you report on that last meeting, I thought, library board?
Just that the meeting is this coming Tuesday.
Okay, we have, this coming Tuesday, we had a personnel and finance committee meeting this past week to discuss staffing, but the next meeting is Tuesday.
Okay. 9, unfinished business from previous meetings. There is none. 10, new business. A, proclamation to Lucas Wise, Eagle Scout. We have a proclamation by the Village of Hortonville. Do you wish for me to read this? Whereas Lucas Wise has proven himself to be an outstanding member of the Boy Scouts of America and has achieved the highest rank of Eagle Scout, and whereas it takes years of dedication and commitment to achieve Eagle rank, and whereas the Eagle Scout Award is a distinction that will follow him throughout life and will be a beacon to others of the leadership quality and commitment this young man has shown. And whereas Eagle Scouts act as leaders and role models in the community, and whereas the citizens of the Village of Hortonville appreciate his hard work to improve the viewing area behind the village administration building by constructing a pergola and benches. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Village of Hortonville do hereby congratulate and recognize Lucas Wise for his achievements of Eagle Scout. We are proud to have him as a member of our community. Thank you very much.
It is beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
B, discussion and possible action on the discontinuation of Dewey Street. If there are no questions, I would need a motion.
I'll make a motion to discontinue the portion of Dewey Street, Village of Hortonville pursuant to section 66.1003 Wisconsin statute.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Motion carried. C, discussion and possible action on O-1-22 ATV, UTV ordinance.
We had a public hearing on the 11th, and at this point, I think the ordinance is put in front of you guys if you want to vote on it and enact it. I think Chris has more background on kind of some timeline. She's been getting signs ready to go and everything else, so.
I actually have a couple of questions that have come to me.
Yep.
So there was a gentleman here that was mentioning on like trick or treat day that would there be certain days of the year that we would prohibit them during, I mean, would we consider that?
Personally, I would say no. I don't see them to be any different than any other vehicle at that point. I mean.
Okay, it was a question.
Right.
And the other question was if we're finding that there is, this is what we're thinking is the ordinance that's gonna work. And if we find that there's something in here that doesn't work, what's our contingency plan? Just look at the ordinance again? Do we have a plan in place of how we would revisit this? Would it be a board member that has to pull this back up to, or would this be administration?
I mean, I guess either or. I mean, we're planning on potentially revisiting it after the Highway 15 project reconstruction is done.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess we still have to do our submittals, I think, to the state to know if we can be on Main Street even, which is,
I heard back from them this morning.
okay.
It sounds like we're not gonna have a problem operating on the 25, on the 25, 35 mile an hour zones. I spoke with both the county and the state. Once it's approved, then I can start the permit process. There's no fee for the permits to operate on village streets. However, if we want to go above and beyond into the 45 mile an hour zone, which would be, an example would be from Midway to the west portion of the town on Double T, then it would be $250. It would be $250 if we want to go under the bypass and out to Highway M. However, that's not going to get us very far because the county maintains the road, so they could say, no, we can't get any further than the Highway 45 at Mystic. It has to end there because that's MM, and Ellington has not applied for a permit, so they can't make it out to MJ's at all. And then the other one would be the Highway 45 from Gilbert's to the village limits to the east on Highway 15. So each one of those permits would be an additional $250 to the village.
is that one time or is that
It's a
a
one-time,
yearly?
it's a one-time fee,
Okay,
but the state will not allow to go on a 45-mile-an-hour zone. So Highway 15 is gonna end at Gilbert's and at the cemetery, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, until after the bypass.
Right, that's
Yeah.
when we were talking
Yeah,
about
then we can look back at it.
revisiting, but then after the bypass, we also talked about revisiting double T also, so.
Okay,
But the highway double M to MJ's, Ellington's gonna have to apply for the permit before we can even, otherwise it just goes to our village limit and stops.
Yeah.
So it's not really feasible to make that permit, to apply for that permit for $250 to not be able to make it halfway to MJ's.
same thing on the other side of Hortonville,
Right.
which you try to get to Wapaka County, so. Okay,
Well, and I had heard that if we get the ball rolling, it sounds like Hortonia's gonna get the ball rolling, so.
yeah,
In Ellington?
yeah, I've had a few.
No, Ellington is already, the balls, they have it all in place.
But not the permit,
Hortonia,
but not the permit.
right. Most of them are not getting the permits. I don't know of any of them that got the permits. Dale doesn't have permits, so you can't even take Highway M out of town.
Because it's confusing, as a user, it's confusing where you can and can't
Right.
go, so.
Is that
how are-
statewide or is that county?
County.
That's county. Okay, so until
Each,
Allegheny,
each county is different.
yeah,
like
until Allegheny
Wapaka's
County
got the
revisits it,
blanket.
yeah.
So Wapaka opened it up, they don't need permits. So if the municipality decides that they wanna open up M, double T, they don't have to apply for a permit, and they could just post 35 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone.
Yeah.
However, Allegheny County has not done that, so.
Back to the confusing part, how, and I get it, it's not our responsibility outside of the village limits, but how would we communicate that to people?
But, because we're gonna have to apply for, the permit is not, the permits, the two permits that I am applying for is for placement of the signs on the highways, okay? So, at each village limit coming into the highway, coming into the village, there's gonna have to be a 36 by 36 inch sign saying, all village streets are open to ATV routes, okay? But then, at the end of industrial, where it meets double T, there's gonna be a sign that says no ATVs beyond this point. So you have to, or it's gonna say, it's got a specific sign that's got an ATV on it, it'll say ATV route, and there's got an actual sign that goes above it that says N.
Okay.
So you'll have one of those there, you'll have one at each end of the village limits. So when you'll have one coming in to Gilbert's, and you'll have one at the end of Gilbert's going out of town. So they're all
So you don't
posted.
have to read a 3-page ordinance to understand, you would just,
Nope,
there's be
we'll
something.
clearly have them marked. I've been working with the county to figure out if we can put up the signs, or if they have to put up the signs. If they put up the signs, I've been quoted $150 per sign.
But then I think it's the village's responsibility
To
to ensure
maintain
that the
them.
sign remains
Yeah,
there.
to maintain them. So I'm hoping that we can put them up, just because we have highway department experience in our village. And we're doing everything right, so.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve O-1-22 UTV ATV ordinance.
I'll second that.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. D, confirmation of citizen members of the commissions. And I think everyone was given a sheet on the commissions. And all we did was update people that had expired in planning and zoning, and added Christina King to the library board. We took Robert Schneider off of the historic preservation. And then I think there was some changes on zoning board of appeals, and that should have been all the changes. So I would need a motion.
I have one question, Jean. Blackwater Lake District wasn't listed on there, but I'm assuming that stayed the same.
That's next week.
Pardon me?
That's with the committees, is assignments, these are commissions.
Oh, I'm sorry,
So
okay,
it's
I
citizen
thought,
members.
since library board was on there, I thought, okay. My mistake, sorry.
Committees are on here. Are we just doing the commissions on this paper, or is this the whole
We're
thing?
just doing the commissions.
It's just the citizen member appointments.
Okay.
The next one is gonna be the, if she changes anything with
Okay.
the, committees.
Thank you for the clarification, now I get it, okay.
Sorry.
I know, I was totally, I didn't catch that at all.
We need a motion?
We need a motion.
All right, I'll make a
please.
motion to confirm the citizen members of the commission.
I'll second that.
All
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. E, discussion and possible action on special assessment plans.
So I need basically, so the next meeting, we're gonna be talking about a preliminary assessment with Wildland subdivision. And before filling in some of the information, like the amount of years for the payback of the potential loan that they have for these special assessments. I wanted to kind of get your input on what you guys want as a starting point, because I didn't want to put in, 8 years and then have you guys want it sooner. So the average estimate, I believe, is around 4,500 right now for the Wild Wind subdivision, and the Cedar Street subdivision is anywhere between 2,000 for a property and 12,000. So
It's a big range.
it is. There's more details into that one that we'll talk about those nights, I guess, when we bring those forward. Cedar Street will be probably the week after we do the preliminary for Wildland. So,
What are the ranges for Cedar?
what?
What are the, so if we're looking at doing Wild Wind,
Wildland's a flat rate across the subdivision because it's the final code.
yeah,
Cedar, the range is that 2,000 or so
Yeah.
to 12. So, but it's a weird location and there's a lot of nuances to the actual project that's going on there. So,
So is this for the whole Wildland or just one phase?
just phase one,
Just phase one?
right?
Okay.
So, I guess if you want me to have on the resolution 2 years, and then if you guys want to extend it based on crowd feedback, that's the way we can go about it. Otherwise, is there something you want to have it set as?
historically, we've done, I think I remember, we've done like 3 years, we've done 5 years, right?
So on average, it's been about, for every 1,000, it's been about a year. But I think you might run into some issues in Cedar with that type of estimate because of the fact that there's a wide range and you have some houses that's more than half their taxes in a year.
Mhm.
So, I don't know, I guess.
But this is just a starting
That's
point.
the longest
Right.
we've ever gone with a special assessment, like 6, 7 years? Is that
To be
on the
honest, I
ballpark?
couldn't tell you. I know the longest, the one we did with the industrial park, which is the most, 2017 was 5 years. But since we're gonna go out for a loan for it, and basically the village isn't really gonna be out anything for the most part, I guess it's kind of up to you. I mean, there is still a little risk, I think, of defaulting.
So but
I don't really know that's.
Well,
more-
yes and no, because it becomes a lien on the property, so the
Right.
property can't transfer unless they've paid off that assessment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Typically, I don't see any that are longer than 10 years. It becomes a bit of an accounting nightmare once you get to that point. And we don't, you might have a new clerk or whatever. It's difficult to keep up with it over such a long period of time. But I think it's really important just to understand that no decision is really being made tonight. It's just, where do you want Nathan to start you guys off? Understanding that people are gonna see that and they're gonna react to it.
Mhm.
But it's intended, special assessment is intended to be flexible, and you should look at the makeup of those properties each time you have one come through, and one doesn't have to be like the other, so.
And this is a flat amount, you said of roughly 4 1,000
That's
something.
wild.
Yeah,
That's for wild.
Wildland.
Wildland, okay,
Specific.
but I'm thinking wild, you know, I mean, when you say 1,000 per year, but yeah, for Cedar Street, that makes it kind of
Yeah.
a very
if you have
different situation.
brand new
Everybody's so
development
different.
with
Yeah.
$2 million homes going
Yeah.
in,
Wow.
$12,000 is gonna be no big deal, but
Right.
got a big assessment like that on a home that's, you
Yeah.
know, maybe an average assessed value of $250,000, $300,000, it's gonna be
If that.
totally different then.
Yeah. My-
Which is why I don't like it when my municipalities have policies that are so,
Right.
why box yourself in that way?
Yeah.
And I
I-
think we
I
have
think
long-term
it's more.
residents there too, don't we?
Where, that
On
Wildlands?
Yes.
Cedar.
On
Well,
Cedar.
Cedar,
I
yeah.
mean, I-
Cedar and Wildlands are gonna be very different.
Well,
Very
you
different.
guys will be
Yes.
able to always
I'm talking about
change it, it's just what we're going into the meeting with. So if you want, I can start it at 2 years, and then you guys can look really nice when you give them,
That was my thought too.
so.
I would start at 2.
Okay.
It's a new subdivision, they're nicer houses, and if, you know, I mean, typically it's more affluent, members that are moving into those homes, so I would start it at 2. I don't think that's an unreasonable burden. And if they ask for 3, we can potentially stretch it out if somebody, you know.
All right.
So you're talking
I think-
specifically about wildlife?
Just
Oh, yeah,
Wildlands.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Cedar, I think, is gonna be a completely
Okay,
different story.
okay, just, I
Yeah.
just wanted to.
You've got much lower home values,
Yep.
more than likely lower median income, and a potentially larger assessment, so.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a very different situation.
right, but like I said, it's just a starting point
Yeah.
so that you guys can go and, so even for Cedar, I'm fine with doing 2 starting, and obviously it's not gonna probably be the ending amount, which I know is probably gonna change, but at least I can come in with that and I have somewhere to start rather than starting. I didn't wanna start higher and then having you guys have to lower that down,
Yeah.
so,
Setting you guys up for some real success here.
yeah.
Still get the phone calls of people going,
So anybody that comes, it's success, but anybody that didn't come and, you know, and talked about it before the meeting, you know, that's the thing. If they come to the meeting and hear that, that's great, but if they don't come to the meeting and they don't hear that,
But they're all going to be served with
Okay.
notice of
Yeah.
this, so if they don't
Wouldn't that
come,
be after the preliminary?
after the preliminary, but prior to the public hearing.
Right.
And you would have the ability to tweak it, obviously, that's the whole
Right.
point of having that public hearing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's, somebody has a problem with it and they didn't show up to a meeting, it's hard to justify that.
So we won't know until the project is completely done what the amount's going to be?
For the most
Is
part.
that what you're saying?
But, yes, but, I mean,
We should
within
know.
reason, it should be very similar.
It should be close.
Yeah, because we already have we already approved the, contract, so.
And there should be some contingency in there.
Right. The preliminaries, you'll get more details on each of the projects and we can adjust from there too, so.
So you just need a head nod, or do you need a motion?
No, I don't need anything, I just needed to know what direction, I guess, so.
So is that what everyone wants to do, start at 2 years?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't want you to get bombarded with phone calls though, Lauren. If it's,
They might not get that, they wouldn't get that information until after the
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
After the preliminary gets brought up at the next meeting, then we
Okay.
send out the notice for the public hearing that's no later than
Okay,
30 days.
Okay.
40 or 30? I'm getting it confused now with the discontinuance, which is 40, but, I mean, you're probably gonna get phone calls either way.
Mhm.
But they can get funneled to me,
Mhm.
so.
Okay, and then we move to F, discussion and possible action on the 2016 police squad.
So our police squad got pelted with hail damage, our 2016 one, along with our 2021, but the 2016 one was the one that we were gonna sell, that we were gonna try listing for around 20,000. It got, what, 10,200 in damage,
10,775.
minus 500 of the taxes they put in there for some reason. So
Yeah.
we got, insurance paid us our check for both vehicles. I guess the thought is, do we want to put the money back into the vehicle to try to resell it for 20? Or do we do the small fix of fixing the, I think you said it was like $750 for the hood, and just keep
About
it as,
900 bucks.
as an administration vehicle. Pocket the other 8,000.
We aren't gonna get anything
I
for
think a
it.
lot of us have this very similar discussion in our homes.
Right.
We're replacing hoods
Right.
and bought our 15-year-old kid undented. That better.
Do we have?
Otherwise, they're gonna total out the cars. So, but this is very different. You planned on using it for administration, so,
Well, no, we were gonna use it, we
We're
were
gonna
gonna
sell
sell
it.
it.
yeah,
But the goal was to get 20 grand for it, because at that point, it makes more sense
Yeah.
to sell it than it does to keep it for the administration. But since we got about 9,000
Yeah.
or so, minus the deductible, might be better off for us to keep it,
Yeah.
is kind of what I think some of the staff is thinking.
And put it to use where?
Well, myself, Jane, our building inspector, I mean, anytime I'm traveling, I'm usually using my own car, I'm not really charging any guys mileage, which is getting really expensive, so it gets, and I don't think, Jane does sometimes, but it's rare, so, basically, it would help us with that, staff use, traveling when we go to seminars and everything else.
Why aren't you charging us mileage?
Shh, it's the goodness of his heart.
yeah. I
Well,
was gonna-
seriously, I think
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you should
yeah,
be, you should be.
well, right, but it's kind of a pain to sit there and track it all.
Yeah, but still,
You got great phone apps for that.
I
but
know,
that's what you should be.
I know.
How many miles are on it?
What, 91,
92,
Yeah, something like that.
789.
Would we carry, are we able to carry full coverage on it if we don't do the hail repair?
Depends on the
That's a-
insurance company.
Yeah,
It depends on the insurance company, but that would be a question too. So with the insurance rate, so let's say you can only carry liability on it, then it would be a lesser insurance rate for us.
I know it's not considered full replacement right now with that age of that vehicle, but I wouldn't know exactly that answer right now.
Okay.
So I can't tell you accurately.
Well, the insurance company didn't total it.
no.
Correct.
So typically, if they don't total the vehicle, you can still maintain coverage on it. But
If you don't
if we
get the
don't fix
hail-
it,
Yeah,
then you can't make a claim for the same damage twice.
Right.
So if you get into
Correct.
if you get into an accident, all the body damage is gonna be on us. I mean,
yeah. That's what I'm wondering with the insurance. Could it be a vehicle that maybe we don't carry that
Kinda.
full
Kinda.
coverage, it's more of a liability coverage now because it has that. So the insurance, it wouldn't be as much of an expense.
Well, most of it's your roof. That's where most of the damage is done in the hood. You get the hood replaced. The roof, you know,
Higher miles.
so body damage side, very little. Some, but very little. You're gonna get an accident with it, it'll be more than just a little baby dent.
yeah.
That would be
it'll
claimed,
Yeah,
you know, on
just be
that.
reduced value.
Yeah, correct.
So then what would you do with the money?
It would just go into the general fund, I guess. I don't have plans for it.
Oh, I didn't know if it went back to the police department?
what were we gonna do with the money if we sold it?
No?
It would just go into basically it goes into our future project funds, anytime we sell equipment that's not designated equipment. So any vehicles that are sold for Public Works or the PD is usually given back to our future projects.
So
I would keep it, fix what we need to. And
Yeah,
I would propose that we keep it, fix the hood, and then try using it for a period of time and see if it's actually gonna be utilized. If not, see what we can get for it at that point.
yeah.
That would be my suggestion. Just, I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanna try to have an administrative vehicle to hop around with, but if it turns out that it's not gonna be useful, just bring it back to us and say, you know, we're really not utilizing it, and we can figure something out from there.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you need a motion? I would think we're
Yeah,
talking
let's-
money.
I
Yeah.
think we should,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would,
Okay.
When do we work
Yeah,
that one?
I'll make a motion to move forward, transitioning the 2016 police cruiser into a use as an administrative vehicle, as well as doing repairs to the hood, not to exceed $1,000.
It might be right around 1,000
Yeah.
after all said and done.
Okay.
800 and, I think what this
I'll
was
second.
800 and something.
Okay, roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. G, discussion and possible action service agreement with GFL.
All right. In the packet, there's a service agreement that needs to be voted on. Currently, this agreement here is for the wastewater treatment plant. This is for our sludge coming off of our screw press. Some $600 a month is what we are currently at. GFL, since it's turned from Gratian to GFL, we have looked at a couple different things. One is how they are handling that sludge material on the truck, disposing of that material. How they did it before, they were getting away with it, however, when they shouldn't have been doing it that way. So they've kind of gotten caught in a way. And also, in speaking with them, we looked at, instead of purchasing a truck at $300,000 that was becoming very specific too, that through this agreement that we would be purchasing over a 3-year period, a container that they would be able to haul and haul correctly along with their permits and so on and so forth, to the landfill. So it is an increase in the amount per month, but it doesn't come to nearly the $300,000 what we were looking at for a truck. So we're looking at approximately about $200 a month more is what we were looking at. Plus we have a container that's ours. We have to seal it. They cannot leak anything on the road. Kind of a specific container. So this will be able to take care of, I guess, what had started before I came on board, the thought of going to a specific truck to haul material ourselves to the landfill. Here we do not have to do that. We'll have a container through GFL. The container can be hauled by any other contractor out there, but GFL now, which was Gratian, they've been with us now for, I believe, 5 years that they've been hauling this stuff. So it's just an increase in this agreement. But it is an agreement that needs to be voted on by you.
So great, and maybe I'm just unaware, is this is in addition to the cakes, right? Don't we have the little cake thing?
That's what it is.
That's what this is, so we're calling it
correct.
sludge, but it's, I remember I did something with cakes a few years
Yeah,
back.
it's a cake. Yeah.
And I was told it could just be disposed of landfill, which is
Correct.
going in the landfill, okay. Do we have to make any modifications at all to the wastewater treatment plant?
Yes, we do have to, a little bit with our conveyor. We actually have to lift that up higher to that. And we're looking at a crane system to actually lift that, to support that, so to fit this container in.
Okay,
So
is
there'll be a
that,
little bit, yes.
okay. And that's something different you're bringing to us later about?
It's a couple $1,000 is what it's gonna be to do that modification.
Any other questions?
And GFL's the only one that does this, or?
We are under a current contract with Gratian, with GFL, so, but it's just a change within
A container.
our contract that we have currently.
So they were hauling it away before,
Yes,
but it wasn't being
with a
done,
different vehicle,
but it wasn't being done properly.
correct,
It was just the wrong container,
kinda, sorta.
kind of, sorta.
Yeah.
I remember though with the cakes that they could just go in a dumpster. They didn't, I remember that. It didn't have to be anything special.
So it comes out soupy or something like that. So you have a front loader, for instance, and this is what the issue is. You got a front loader. What's happening is that lifts it up over the cab into the vehicle, and that is not contained. So they're going down the road, it's leaking out. In the wintertime, also what's happening is because there's moisture in it, it freezes. So they have a hard time with that, to get the material out. So, this container here, they take it, they actually dump it, and all of it comes out. So what we're looking at doing is, especially in the wintertime, is actually putting a wrap, a plastic wrap in there to ensure that nothing spills out, and it also comes out, especially in the wintertime. No spilling. The other thing too was, they were not licensed before to dump within Allegheny County. So, not good. And that's all been cleared up.
If there are no more questions, I would need a motion.
So, well, so it's $200 a month more, so it's gonna go from 600 to 800, right? And then the container is how much?
That's within that cost there. We are looking at basically that rental, where you see on there where it says $150 a month for rental.
I don't have that. All I have is your sheet. I didn't get that one.
Monthly base charges. Oh, you don't have that in your
I got it.
paper?
Just give it to me.
That is what the container is gonna cost us per month. So basically, it's just an extra $50 a month on top of that rental fee.
And then we own it in 3 years.
Yep, then we own it in 3 years.
So do they have a contract or something written up that would show that $50 and that it's ours after so many years?
No,
or-
this is just all they had done for us is just say new, and this is what it would come to be.
Okay, so we're gonna pay $600 a month, and then $200 a month for the
Yeah,
fee
pretty
for
much.
the container. So it's gonna be $800 a month for 3 years.
Approximate.
And then, does it last longer than 3 years,
Oh, yeah.
or? Okay.
The
So
container?
then, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So then it'll be $600 a month, or whatever the current rate is then. Because we won't be renting it anymore, right?
No, it'll be, well, correct, yes,
Yeah.
it will then fall off.
Okay, but it also
Yep.
says first year rate locked, second, third year, max something price increase, 3 question mark. Is there anything on here that says that container's ours after 3 years?
Nope.
I'm just looking, I mean, I don't,
No, I don't think it did, to be honest with you. Chris did this, sorry, Chris worked with GFL on this. But that is a good question.
could this be brought back to the next meeting with that clarification on there? Because I think after 3 years, they could just come grab the container, and it's our impression, we're paying for it over 3 years, and it's ours, but if it's not,
Yeah, no, I see that. No, we should lock into that, yeah, I should have looked at that a little closer, sorry about that.
Is there another page that's missing?
No, this is charges and payments, this is the only other thing with the
I just
terms and
feel like if
conditions.
we're buying something over 36 months, we
Yeah,
should
I
have
don't think
something
we-
in writing that says it's gonna be ours.
Yeah,
You said on one plan.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll put in and clarify what the question mark means too.
Yeah.
Price increase, 3 question mark.
Yeah.
These two.
It says it's
I
contract.
would not approve this tonight, I just don't feel
all
We
comfortable.
don't
equipment
own it.
furnished to
We're not- it's not a
customers.
lease.
But we'll own it, but nothing
We
says,
won't own it.
that's what he was just saying though, that we would
But
own it
that's
after
not
3 years.
what not according to.
Agreement customer shall not encumber, alter,
If this got pushed out for 2 weeks to get the clarification, is it life or death? Could we get that
No,
clarification?
I'll be honest
Okay.
with you, no, because I'll go back to Chris and I'll say, hey, this needs to be cleaned up. So
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
just find out for
absolutely.
sure. And then
Yeah, just so we're certain,
I might
and
even
that
call
way,
GFL myself and get
Yep.
this.
yeah, that way
Because when
everybody
you
knows.
write something down on a contract too, and I thought about this originally, that you don't write things in a contract like this. It's gotta be clearer than that. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So do you need a
No problem.
motion just to
Nope.
defer this? Okay. All right,
Okay, then we will move to H, discussion and possible action on the F-550 truck replacement.
So if you, I had put in International and GM plaque, and then Packer City International, if you want a reference to my report. For this, we've been working on this truck for some time. This has been worked on actually before I came on board here, and we're finally coming to the end of this. Originally, we were looking at a hook lift truck that became from a $150,000 truck into about a $300,000 truck. I asked Chris we need to look at it a little bit differently. 300,000 is a little bit out of whack. 150,000, in my opinion, was a little bit out of whack also for a very specific truck. We needed something that is a multi-purpose vehicle, and not just for the wastewater treatment plant only. The 550 is a little bit smaller than what this 5600 is. However, the capacity of this will be increased with the 5600. So what you have in front of you is two quotes. What we're doing is dump bodies and hydraulics that the bidder, the individuals that are quoting this would oversee then the installation of the box and the hydraulics to this truck. So Packer City came in at $101,446, and then Plock out of New London came in at $95,436. Within the last 3 weeks here, there has been an increase of approximately $2,800. Delaying it, I hate to say this, delaying this anymore, 3 weeks, another month of that, we're probably gonna see another increase. Exactly what, we don't know. We don't have the 23 pricing, and that may not come out for another month. So we're looking at locking this truck in before it does become a $100,000 truck or more. So my suggestion is to approve for Plock for $95,436. So if you look at the two quotes, $59,880, and then the equipment box is at $35,556. Comes in $95,436. And then again, Packer City International, which is, in my opinion, the same truck, except for you're paying for international versus ship. The same chassis and everything, but that's our.
So the truck equipment box is everything, okay, all of the things here are included on the one down here, all the options are the same? Is that what you're saying?
Correct, yep.
Is this a replacement?
For our current existing 550, correct.
Okay, and are we then selling that, or is that just
Surplusing
gonna
it,
be an
yes.
additional, okay,
Yeah, is what I would classify as surplusing.
surplusing,
Yep, selling it wherever we can.
What did we plan for in the CIP for this?
Yes.
What did we plan for? How much?
110.
Okay. That's a cheap price. It's cheaper than the trucks that I'm looking at just for driving down the road. For brand new, if I looked at brand new trucks,
That's crazy.
that's why I'm not driving in the truck.
I just wonder what trucks you look
You know,
for. FYI.
they're freaking 80 to 100 grand for a truck. That's what.
Well,
go look at the lot. That's what they are for. Just driving, just for a quarter, for a half ton driving down the road.
This is a 23,000 GVW,
Yeah.
so
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the Plock Automotive New London 550 truck replacement for the amount of $95,436.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Motion carried. I, discussion and possible action on ARPA funds.
So on April 30th, we have to do a submittal for our annual submittal to the State Department for ARPA funds. Basically, we're gonna be claiming it as lost revenue. That basically allows us to do any type of government activities other than, there's 5 things you can't, which most of them aren't even in our wheelhouse to even do. So, basically, we wanted to generalize our ideas of what we want to use it for. These aren't applying a certain percentage or anything like that. It's just general ideas that the village board feels to use the funds for. So the 5 that I have down is potential park improvements, potential street improvements, potential downtown improvements, potential water and sewer improvements, and potential developer incentives. So, you might have only applied the 300,000 to one, which would be at a different time. We would bring it to you anytime that we're looking at expensing anything officially. It's just for a narrative that we have to submit with the basically the state form when we do our annual report. Any questions, I guess?
That's acceptable, the general terms like that?
Yeah, it's basically a text box that we're doing our narrative. It's not like we're saying that that the board applied any funds to any of it. It's just these are the general ideas the board wishes to do with the funds. So,
Pretty broad.
So what kind of motion do you need?
I guess probably to approve lost revenue for the ARPA funds and to use those funds potentially in any of these categories and then listing them.
Can you list them again? I'll write them down.
So
I did write.
it's parks, streets, downtown, water and sewer, or developer incentives.
I'll make a motion. I'll bite. I'll make a motion to approve the ARPA funds. Help me out here.
Under lost revenue.
Under lost revenue to be used at a future date for parks, water, sewer,
Downtown.
downtown, streets,
Developer.
developer
Or-
incentives.
yeah.
Okay. Did I catch all of them? Okay.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. J, discussion and possible action on potential partial land transfer. Parcel number 240043101 to parcel 2400143-100.
So, I don't have anything in the packet for this. This is something that popped up. Basically, our parcel goes into this yard next door right here. About 25 feet from, you can see where it kind of jets down, that's a 25 foot. So the idea would be to offset, give that homeowner about 2,600 square feet. We'd be getting about 530 on the back end, which would allow us for more snow storage. That area over there, I can pull up on the GIS if you'd like. It's filled with a bunch of brush, and actually some of their cement we own. They're poured concrete over there. The owner wants to clean it up, put on a garage, and basically they're asking for a little bit of space. So
Nathan, where is this?
Yeah.
I mean, is that the
I don't
address?
have
It's
any
right
idea
out
what
here.
we're talking
Right
about.
out here, as
Okay.
you go up this driveway, on
Yep.
the left-hand side, it's this property right here,
This right over here.
Yep,
right here. As you go out the driveway, right on the left-hand side.
I'll pull it up on the web.
Yes.
So we own the brush?
Yeah, we own concrete brush.
You have to pivot the picture
Stuff.
like this too.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, it looked
Just give
familiar,
me a
but
second, I'll pull it
Pivot
up
the
on
picture
the,
like this,
and I have
because you can see the sidewalk
Google
on
Maps
the
on
very
here.
top
You
of
put
the
it down.
screen.
it's on Old Street.
Okay, so I just need to see where it is.
Slightly.
So
So,
there's the garages and the police car way up in the upper right corner,
Yep, okay.
okay? So, and where Jim's sitting is Oak Street.
Yep. So we own some of the brush back there. We own-
and the cement, you can kind of see
Right
that.
there.
Oh,
For the
Okay.
150.
So the idea was to still have a little bit of a swell in there that we would take about 11, we'd keep 11 feet from the sidewalk. And they would be getting about 16 or so feet.
So because we,
And we're
I'm
giving
completely
it to
confused.
them?
what
You're
we're-
talking where that line is, just left of the
That's
25?
up for discussion. So basically, a CSM, to pay for the CSM is about $1,600.
The
And they
CSM.
would pay for that?
I would probably suggest having them just pay for that.
So,
Big tree, you'll see, basically is
It would
coming
be
up
nice if it
here
was cleaned up, I think mostly.
and giving her this so that this can all be cleaned up. Right now, we own, this is where the cement slab is out there. There's a bunch of wood and whatever else that's there.
okay, that's the stuff that's right here. on the
Yeah, it's
side.
right here. If you go out this way tonight before it gets dark and that, there's flags out there kind of denoting.
so would it make sense to bring our property just up to the concrete? Or what was the
No, because
determining?
we need a common swell for water, because there's a lot of water that goes off
Yeah.
of our road into that area, and for snow storage. That's part of why we would keep it, at least a portion of it. So,
So we'd be keeping a portion of the concrete?
so basically, the
No.
concrete we don't own.
No,
The only thing that, it would go to the edge of their
I don't know if you
berm,
want to bring your other one up.
basically, is where
Can you
ours,
zoom back out on this a little bit?
yeah.
So we would be from here to,
So, okay.
we would be from here to here, we would own that.
From
That's
where-
about 11 feet.
Okay, so. you
And then
want to
she
own
would
it.
have approximately, 12 feet-ish, whatever, 10 to 12 feet in here. So that line, and this is where the existing swale is right now for water, stormwater to go, is right about in here.
And why
So we're
would,
gonna share that.
why would we do this? What's the benefit?
She
Well,
wants to
if-
clean this
if they
area
clean it
up
up.
Okay,
and put a garage on it eventually. Right now, she doesn't own,
yeah,
Then,
well, yeah.
she doesn't own
Yeah,
where
well,
she wants to.
I understand the property
We
owner's
own.
incentive. What is the village's incentive to give her and to change this?
I worry about the
Clean.
swell, the shared swell kind of concerns
Well,
me.
otherwise, we have to maintain it, so then it's us cleaning it up and maintaining it, which is fine. I don't know how we're gonna maintain half of the cement, but
What have we been doing with it so far?
nothing.
Nothing.
It's
Okay.
been sitting
We
there
just-
going to crap.
We just mowed down X amount of feet,
So-
whatever, and just leave it.
Okay, so technically we've been maintaining it?
No,
No,
So we're not doing anything with it?
right.
So, okay, so,
Basically, it gets it off of what we're supposed to maintain. And
So
we
why
didn't
is-
even know we basically.
yeah, we didn't know we owned
okay, so,
it until this was brought up and we looked at it.
So that property line runs on that angle like that, jogs?
Yeah,
So I guess the swell to me would be my concern, because then that helps with the stormwater and all that. If we could maintain all of the swell,
That's
so
what
that
we're
we
doing.
do have control over the full, so it's not, somebody builds a garage and now we have a half a swell there.
They have to be at least 5 feet from off of the lot line, and they have to maintain the swell as well,
correct.
through per ordinance.
Per ordinance, I
Right.
get that, but,
And state stats.
yeah.
We cannot flood out them, they cannot flood out us. There has to be a common swale between property lines.
And we can, if you guys want to discuss price, we can always do that in closed session as well, so.
Or if you really wanna make friends, you could order them to remove the
I think
cement.
we should
and
just
drop
feel
it.
free to
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking there, but
Or do
yeah.
it and charge it back.
absolutely.
yeah, if she wants it cleaned up, I mean, maybe we work out an agreement where we clean up the brush. I don't know, I mean.
No, there, like I said, there's more than that. You have concrete there also.
And we didn't put the concrete there.
No, it's from an
Who knows
old,
what happened? They
so the
just-
parcel was owned, and there was actually a house kind of where
Bernita
our
Reiner's,
road goes
yeah.
in.
There was, yeah, an
And-
old brick house that we had to tear down.
Yeah,
So it's kind of leftovers from a different
Yeah.
Okay.
time.
I think it's something that needs to be discussed in closed session. Do you not Agree.
Does that work for what's on our agenda tonight?
Yep.
Okay, well then then I'd like to defer that to closed session so we can
Discuss pricing.
discuss pricing,
Negotiate.
and obviously.
Okay, then we would move to K, any other miscellaneous topics for future discussion? Does anyone have any? No? Then we'll move to 11, report of village officials. A, clerk treasurer, and Jane does have hers in the packet.
Also, there were 24 solicitor's permits issued this week.
24. Wow.
Sorry, 24 what?
Solicitor's permit,
Okay.
Wow.
What does that generate?
around $2,000.
How much is a permit?
The original for the company is $250 plus a $7 background check, and then each employee afterwards is $57. 50 for the employee and then 7 for the background.
Is there any delay on the policy, on the permitting for solicitors? Or is it as soon as you apply, you get it?
No, it's usually whenever the police can get the background check done,
We have up to 5 days.
5 days, okay.
but yeah, it's usually pretty quick.
Okay. I had a local business approach me and suggest that we look at our policy to incentivize our local businesses.
I think we have the highest prices in Outagamie County,
Yeah,
so I would say we kind of do incentivize them to go elsewhere, but it's not on purpose. It's weird.
Can't advertise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren, this would be a clerk
so I
question.
was just wondering what the delay on that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
A clerk question, so if somebody is on your property without a solicitor's permit, what do you do?
They can report it either to us or the PD, and then police will take care of it.
They should be reporting it to us,
Yeah.
because she's just gonna turn around, she's gonna call me.
Okay.
And we have an ordinance, so the officers have it right on hand, so it's a $124 fine. One of the portions of the background check is that we physically check in areas that they have been, and if they've had any solicitation violations, if they have 3 of them, they can be disqualified, so.
Okay, I've been asked this question twice this week because of certain neighborhoods that are really getting hit. Okay.
There's one company that they have 15 people.
Yeah.
One company, Apex, has got 15 people, and the other one I think has 6.
Yeah. And there's more that are coming.
I did question one that came to my door and made him show me the card.
Good.
Because I would have been on the phone in 2.3 seconds to you.
We've got a couple we haven't caught because, I mean, some of them look like they're, people who are, doing the appraisals and stuff like that, so very well dressed.
They look like insurance
Little
adjusters.
cars, yeah, they look like insurance adjusters. And I don't have the right to go up and ask each and every one of them, who are you? So, if somebody's reporting it, then we act on it, so.
Thank you.
We've filtered a lot of ordinance calls, so.
Thank you, and thank you for what you guys are doing too.
Great.
Move it along.
Okay, we will go to B, Director of Public Works.
Couple things, Miller Park, I don't know if you guys been past Miller Park. We have started the continuation of the project. Currently, the underground utilities for the lights, things like that are installed. The MCC came in this week, graded it. Hopefully within the next week here, you're gonna start to see concrete being put down for the curbing and also some sidewalks. Not all of it will be done. They have to leave an opening so that we can get into the courts and actually pave the courts. You're not gonna drive big trucks over concrete and bust it up and stuff, so they'll have to come back and then finish some of that. So you'll see that there's progress that has started within Miller Park. The other thing that is not part of my report here, that my report came out for this, we received a lot of hail damage on our building. So I had given you a list of what we have inspected and found. We are currently going out for quotes, and also Wednesday, our insurance company, or insurance agent will be here then to also inspect. So keep you informed on what's going on within the next week or so. Might be a simple email or mass email to you guys and let you know what's going on. But it's gonna be a long process. This is something that won't be done, especially with the amount of damage we have. So, that's it.
Water tower good?
Water tower's good.
Yeah.
It came right off of that. We did have one issue there. We had our antenna up there for our water meters. That coax cable had broke. So we had climbed that up. We climbed up there the other day and actually repaired that. We had another issue with it that actually wasn't our fault, but it's a good thing we did that to find that coax cable actually busted. So, but otherwise, water tower's good.
Perfect. C, police chief?
My report is also in the packet. I attended two of the Easter egg events. We did the one where we drove around from 1 to 4. That was a really good turnout. We posted a bunch of pictures on Facebook. I attended the Easter event at Commercial Club Park. That was much bigger than I think anybody could have imagined. They had between 500 and 600 kids alone there. I don't know what the final number was. It was a zoo.
Ran out of eggs.
Jim Clegg was there. I was talking to him. He put the heaters on the one side of the commercial club, so it was nice and warm inside. They had tables. I don't know if anybody else was there. I saw Pat there. But they had all the picnic tables were covered with paper. They had the kids coloring. They didn't have nearly enough eggs. So, yeah, they're gonna plan a meeting. They've asked for my input. Sounds like I'll be invited to the meeting just to add some input. I handed out a ton of stickers and pencils, and yeah, it was great. So, I've been working on the ATV ordinance with the staff, working with the county and the state concerning it. Officer Tovison is working with the drone program along with Ashley, our village attorney, because we need a letter for the FAA regarding what we're going to use it for. It's called a public declaration letter. So I think we have that. It's all been sent off to them today. So we're one step closer in that process. I've been working on updating our evidence room. Our evidence room had a program. It was a generic version of what they call the Beast. There's not very many evidence programs that are being used out there by other agencies. When we switched to Spillman in June of 2018, we were able to, there's a evidence program built right into Spillman, and it's a free program. So there's some agencies like Grand Chute that are opting to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars annually for this Beast program, but it's very cumbersome. It's hard to navigate. It basically shuts down when we're in the middle of entering evidence. So when you're entering 12 pieces of evidence, you get 4 entered in and it shuts down. You gotta start all over, and then you have multiple evidence that's in there. So, so I've been checking around. I've been working with Outagamie County. Jeff Dietzen had sent me some information on how they trained their staff. So officially today was the day that they could start using the Spillman program for evidence. The big thing is all the way back to 2018, anything that's in our evidence room, there's, 144 pieces of evidence. That's just physical evidence, and there's an additional 120 pieces of digital evidence that needs to be moved from the old system into the new system. So it's gonna take some time, but once it's done, it's gonna be a beautiful thing, so. Squad 21 sustain, and that's our middle one, so that's our 2021, is Squad 21. We received, hail damage of 5,700, so minus the 500. Well, it was actually 5,500 because there's $300 in tax. So that's going in for repair tomorrow. They're putting on a new hood. They're gonna have to drop down the cages, and because the cages are tied up against the headliner. So once they drop the cages down, they can tilt them, and then they can get a tool up in there, and they can push up the dents and suck them up at the same time. So they're confident that they can get all of the dents out of the hood, or not the hood. The hood's gonna be replaced for 7, but the roof of the car. We have roughly, I would say, probably 300 dents in the car throughout the entire car. So, you know that a lot of people are getting their hoods and their roofs replaced, but if you don't have to do a hood or a roof, you don't want to do a roof because now you're damaging the structure of it. And if we end up in a rollover, we potentially could have somebody die in that accident. So that's going in on tomorrow, and we should have it back by Monday. They said it's an 11-hour job, so not bad.
Any questions for Chris?
So I'm trying, but we saved all of our meetings, yeah, you're good.
I was looking through the call report. Could you remind me again, what's the difference between a traffic stop and traffic safety?
There's traffic stop, traffic safety.
Yeah,
So traffic safety is gonna be like when they're doing school traffic and they're sitting someplace.
okay. Okay. I was just looking through the call logs and, okay, thank you.
Okay, moving to D, library director.
Just a few things. This week we began painting in the library for a collaborative project that we have with Wolf River Community Bank. So they are funding us for a set amount over the next however many years to redo the children's area right when you walk in the library, to rename that area as the Wolf Den. So we have paint going up this week, and then the weekend of the 30th, No Limits Graphics is going to be putting a vinyl wall decal of a tree and the Wolf River Bank Wolf Den logo, so that we can do a grand reopening of the children's area. Either end of May is kind of our goal, beginning of June, to align it with our summer programming as well and kind of revamp that kids area. We're having our book sale for the Friends of the Library a Friday and Saturday, May 13th and 14th. It's the same weekend as the Village-wide rummage sale. There is a book sale and bake sale sign up if anybody would like to help. We really, really need help setting the this room up on Thursday the 12th, as well as baking and cleanup that Saturday and helping just staff the sale itself. The last few months I've been on a committee to organize a conference for the 17 libraries in our system. So today and tomorrow is our HootCon conference at Mosquito Hill for the directors and library staff at those 17 libraries. I'm very glad it is just about over. It's been quite a bit. I just don't think I'm forgetting anything. I think that's it.
Any questions for Ally? Move to E, attorney.
Okay.
Okay, we'll move to F, administrator.
Been a busy few weeks, kind of worked on a few different things with organization within, the departments, projects and work order type stuff. my report's in the packet. I think that's about it. Most of the other information you'll be receiving in a little bit. So, close second.
Any questions for Nathan?
Any updates on the bypass? Are we-
Not really.
Should we expect them to start seeing stuff moving, or
Well, they've started already.
I haven't really seen anything?
Yeah, if you've been 15, you'll see that they've started from where we,
Well, yeah, the Lily of the Valley stuff.
That
I think
through
that's
there.
talking more for us.
I mean, I've seen cones up there, but
Right.
I haven't seen anybody do anything, and I haven't seen any equipment really moving.
the bridges are curing right now, so there's nothing really that they can do around them bridges until it's cured. Whatever that magic number is,
I think they're working
magic date.
more back in here behind where where Rob lives,
Yep.
and then the highway up by Gibbons. So a lot of
The
work is
ends.
being done right in those areas right now.
Are they still planning on pouring the road this year, or is that,
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
do you know?
The base has got to go in first.
Yeah.
So, and the base isn't in. They have to get that base done, and then they're gonna start hauling gravel. And that may sit for a year.
From what we know, it's still on schedule.
Yeah, it's on
Ending in
schedule.
23.
Okay. Be open by 23.
It'll be finished, yeah, finished by 23, in the beginning of 24 is what they're saying, but
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, that's, yeah, it's supposed to.
Seems like there's a lot.
Integrity, who's been doing the majority of the work in that, has to be completed with theirs, part of their contract by October. So then Integrity will no longer be in here, it'll just be Michael's and their contractors. Then for the rest of the year, and then into next year.
To take a step back to the clerk, at the end of our packet is a list of license numbers. Was that part of consent agenda? Should we have read those?
No, you don't do consent, you don't approve these?
We don't approve these.
No, those are all state law change and allows for the clerk, if we pass the ordinance
Okay,
allowing.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing a step.
Right.
Okay, I was the one that approved that, so I make there, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move to G, building permit report, there is none. 12, communications and miscellaneous business. A, Black Otter Lake District news.
We have a meeting, this coming Wednesday at 6.
Okay. Move to B, Hortonville, Hortonia Fire District news.
We had a meeting, I don't have the numbers with me, but if anybody wants to know the balances, I can forward them to you. The fire department's got plenty of people, looks like, right now in the queue. We got some new. The EMS is working with a project where they're paying for schooling, as everybody else is. So they released a form to us that they're gonna have the participants sign, basically saying, you know, you're gonna go through it, and then you're gonna work with our department, and we'll pay it. We'll pay for it. But that's about it.
I have a quick question. Did you guys do the Explorer program with high school kids?
What's that?
The Explorer program, do you guys do that? No? Because I had seen that other municipalities were having a hard time like finding EMS, that they were trying to do the Explorer program, because like the high school has like the CNA program and all that stuff, and then there's kids that want to take that step further and they do the Explorer program if it would help.
Dale and Allington both do it.
Do they?
We never had a need.
No, okay. Might just help recruit some of the younger, especially for the EMS or the medical part of it. No, just a thought.
Okay, we'll move to C, Gold Cross Ambulance Run Report and News, there's none. D, Hortonville Civic Association, and Peter is out. E, Senior Activities Committee.
We had a core committee meeting this afternoon, worked on planning events coming up. We are going to have a lunch in June at Commercial Club, picnic lunch June 6th, and just looking at other things up ahead, trying to plan further activities and speakers and that kind of thing. So I think we're moving along. Oh, did anybody report on the history panel?
I don't think so.
So that was last Wednesday. It was a cooperation between the library, the historical society, and the senior activities, and it was an open discussion for people to come and talk about history of Hortonville, people that have lived here most of their lives. It was very interesting. Library provided journals for people to fill out, and on May 11th is the next gathering, and that will be talking about one-room schools. And it sounds like there's a number of people that are interested in coming, so I think it was very well done, so thank you, both of you.
Okay, we will move to 13, comments and suggestions from citizens present. There are none. 14, I would need a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session. State statute 19.851E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session.
Second?
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay, we will need 5 minutes to clear the meeting room. 17, any action on matters discussed in closed session? There is none. 18, I would need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are now adjourned.